So what we're looking at here, when Byron Scott was in high school, the Lakers player, when he was in high school 38 years ago, a woman claims that she was SA'd. She was SA'd 38 years ago. And today, 38 years later, she is filing a lawsuit. Filing a lawsuit. And you see it says 26 and 15. Goodness gracious. But also, around the same time, Smokey Robinson, several of his housekeepers claimed that he was SAing them as well. SA. Again. And with several of these women, it says that, the allegations stem from 2006 or 2012 all the way to as late as 2024, last year. But guess what they got together to do? File a group lawsuit. Not press criminal charges, file a lawsuit. And we had the Shannon Sharp stuff going on recently. And when it comes to that, that's heavy already. But his ex came out and accused him of some things as well. But she is not pressing charges or anything like that. She just came to get, a piece of the clout pie, basically. Because she was on the Art of Dialogue, and they'll interview anybody if you got something to say about Tupac. So, Let me tell you something real simple about this, man. The Me Too movement opened up a can of worms. And before I get real deep, I just want to say, it is possible that these guys did these things. It is possible that they are bad men. It is possible. It's all of this is alleged, though. So it's innocent until proven guilty. But, just because they're allegations and just because you're innocent until proven guilty, that doesn't mean that these guys absolutely did not do this. But let's be honest. All right, so now that we got the responsible shit out the way, let's be honest, man. I was saying that this shit opened up a can of worms. And once the can of worms gets out of the can, once they get out the can, you cannot put a lid back on a can of worms. It's over. Things could never go back to the way they were. And this is what I mean. I don't think, and this is me being honest, when it comes to a lot of this Me Too stuff, I don't think it really impacts regular guys that much. That's me being honest with you as a listener. The people it impacts is two people. People with, or two types of people. People with a lot of fame or status. A lot of high status. Usually a lot of fame. Not just like, oh, the top dentist at fucking LA Medical Center or what. No. Something like somebody of high status as far as like some type of fame, NFL player, whatever the case may be. And then the other end of that is people with a lot of fucking money. Don't let you have both. Don't let you have a lot of fame and a lot of money. Because this has become the new retirement plan for a lot of women. Just come out with these allegations. It's not about justice. It's more about money. It's more about the transaction. It's more about, in some cases, you could say destroying the guy. Because, there are a lot of conspiracies when it comes to celebrities to where it's like, oh, do you think somebody else is behind the scene pulling the strings? You seen how and when the Diddy shit unfolded. I'm not even going to get into all the conspiracy theory shit. But listen, fame come with a lot of money. And it's getting to the point where fame is starting to look like it's not worth it. Because if you can be accused of something and sued, whether it happened or not, some shit from 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, the allegations made on Byron Scott go back to before cell phones was even fucking invented. Not really. I had to just Google that. They were invented in 73, which is insane. But, they were available for commercial use in like 84. But that's besides the point. Like, everybody didn't have access to that type of shit. Everybody didn't have access to that type of shit, man. Ain't no fucking records. Ain't no surveillance footage. Ain't nothing. No pictures. No nothing, dog. Ain't nothing. Like, even if it was pictures, you got to go and blow the dust off that fucking... You got to go in the garage, open up that box from the fifth move you made, in the past 30 years. in the past 30 years, fucking dig around in the garage in them boxes, get the photo album off, and start blowing the dust off them old photo albums and find a photo of you and Byron Scott. Like, that shit is, come on, man, what the fuck is we doing? So if you were famous and you were even in proximity of a woman, if you had a relationship in bad or anything like that, just anything like that, if they feel, if you knew a chick, if you hired a woman as a maid, if they feel at any point in their life like this life shit is too hard and they want to make you the come up, all they got to do is get with Tony Busbee. Now you to come up. They just get with a lawyer who is willing to take the shit and will go and sue this person for some shit that may or may not have happened 30 years ago. Now, it's possible that this can affect somebody that is not wealthy and that is not famous or doesn't have status. It's possible, but it's unlikely. And the main reason it's unlikely is because what these women are going for, again, is not justice, it's for the bag. That's what it's about. It's about getting the bag. So there is no point or incentive to sue Uncle Larry, because Uncle Larry, touched you 40 years ago when you were 7. Like, it's no point in going and like, making up an allegation about the bartender at the Rusty Spoon or whatever the fuck. Like, it's no reason to do that for any type of gain to where you're not pressing criminal charges and you're just filing a lawsuit against a regular guy that makes $50,000 a year. But what if the man's net worth is $14 million? Dollars begins to make sense then. Or what if his net worth is $40 million? Why not dig up, 20 years, some shit 20 years ago, or your affiliation? Why not use the association and affiliation that you had 20 years ago to get more than a retirement, to make yourself a millionaire? You don't have to work for it no more. You just have to find somebody who did and accuse them. And the thing is, some people are sloppy with it. That's why they get caught up. That's how come it don't go the way they thought it was going to go, and they make the wrong move like Tony Busbee did with Jay-Z. And Jay-Z this news just dropped. Jay-Z said the lawsuit cost him nearly $200 million. Dealing with that lawsuit cost him $200 million. Do you see why Shannon offered 10 and they turned it down? They turned it down. And then they're trying to hit him for 50. Because the thing is, it's going to cost more for these celebrities to fight than it's going to cost as far as that 50 million. It's going to cost way more to fight. Jay-Z has proved against the same lawyer recently that it cost him 200 million. With Shannon, this is going to cost an absorbent amount of money, just a ridiculous amount of money to fight this $50 million case and win or get it dropped or something. And even then, he got the difference between the Jay-Z shit. I believe the Jay-Z shit was completely fabricated, and that's how come Jay-Z aggressively went against it from day one. And even then, the dad and other people were basically saying, yeah, this shit never happened. The victim's dad. We get to, this shit right here. Shannon is on the phone saying, big black man chokes white woman. Like, so it's just, it looks bad. And he actually has an affiliation with this chick. So it's going to be much, 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 much harder for him to beat. But if you look at it, rich men and famous men are absolutely cooked. I know nobody rich or famous is watching this. But if you are and you have not been having mad groupie sex, bruh, for anybody that is about to get famous, if you're a kid and you're about to get into streaming, and by kid, I mean like 19 or some shit. I don't mean like fucking 16. If you like 16, turn this fucking video off. Go play some fucking Roblox or some shit. But if you are a young man, we gonna say young man because we not about to just keep calling fucking 19-year-olds and shit like that kids. plan on getting famous or plan on getting some money, if you go into the league, if you know somebody going to the league or anything like that, man, you gotta set up a highlight reel. If you know somebody going to the league or something, you gotta set a highlight reel up of all the athletes that have been destroyed by not just white women, but women in general. Because white women made the playbook, and black women got their hands on the playbook and they use it to some degree. Same with women from other demographics. But you just got to look at that. And then even if you any other type of celebrity, like you need to recognize, this is my advice to anybody that's about to get anywhere with anything as far as any fame, man. Whatever you did before the fame, man, we are at a place where it doesn't you didn't even have to do it. If you just had an affiliation, you just gotta save up your bread and get ready for the storm in case it happened. But outside of that, just really don't get on some Elon Musk shit. Don't get out here and have like 12 baby moms, 11 baby moms. Like, that shit is not the way. If that ever blow up in his face, I won't be surprised. But yeah, just put your cock on the shelf, man. Just forget about it at this point, man. Like, just forget about it. People, like, I seen somebody, I can't remember who video it was. I seen it the other day. Matter of fact, Dr. Umar, and he said the reason this is happening, which is contradictory, because on one hand, he says that, oh, he wasn't taking care of her financially. And then on the other hand, he says that the chick was trying to set him up, and, there are bigger powers that be, pushing this and shit like that. So it's contradictory. But even taking care of a chick, I told y'all when it came to the Stormy Daniels shit and her signing the NDA with Donald Trump, and still for no reason. Like, Donald Trump didn't do anything to her. She just wanted to, blow the whistle and say, yeah, I had disgusting sex with this man. And, he tried to pay her off and stuff like that to shut her up. And it all went to trial and shit like that, et cetera, et cetera. But the point that I make when it comes to the Stormy Daniels shit and Superhead, you cannot pay a bitch to shut up. You cannot pay a bitch to shut up. And cats need to really recognize that. Like, it's not what you think it is. People say, oh, man, pay and you won't have these issues. Nah, man. No, I believe Shannon was paying her regardless. I believe that he was breaking up some bread. I believe he was breaking some bread. But when we get past all of that, when it comes to the celebrities and the famous, they are cooked. And it does set a precedent to where now we could, even if a chick did want to do that to a regular guy and just go back 30 years, I don't like, he mayor now, or he got some type of stat. I don't like that. And we used to fuck around 30 years ago. So let me just say that, and they could do like Shannon Sharp's, ex-girlfriend, who didn't file any charges against him, but, go and sit down with Art of Dialogue or some other platform and just down talk you. Get on the internet and down talk you. I mean, regular baby moms do that already. But I think there's a bigger thing that I got to talk about, a bigger point, a bigger issue. When you look at this type of activity, it highlights something that has been here for quite a while, since at least the late 70s, early 80s, whenever it is. You might even say 60s. I'm not 100% sure. But when it comes to the court, when it comes to American law, anything pertaining to men and women, there is a bias against men. The system is rigged against men. You were cooked. You were absolutely cooked. When we talk about having custody of your kid, when we talk about paying alimony, when we talk about getting half and things like that, the courts and the laws are written in ways to where it is set to favor the woman. And these lawsuits are just an extension of that. But I'm going to show you a quick clip right quick. It doesn't directly relate to this, but it relates to the court situation.
Watch this and we're going to talk about it. So I seen this video by Keita, and Keita was talking about how come men say that the court system is holding their child away from them because they want to be a part of their life, but the court system doesn't. She was basically saying that if you are claiming to be a good father, you should go through every extreme possible to see your child. I don't believe in that. I believe it gets to a certain point when you need to cut ties with her and those children, and when the correct times comes, those children are going to grow up and realize who was the real issue and what was the real issue. And it's 9 times out of 10 it's the mother because she was bitter and angry. I just have this weird perception that y'all think that just because these men are men and they're masculine, that they should be able to feel pain, that they should have to struggle to see their child. I don't. I believe in giving up rights. If somebody is being so difficult to the point where your life is becoming stressed out, you're not able to focus, you're not able to take care of yourself, let go of that situation and the situation will come back to you. There is a very thin line in self-preservation and just plain ignorance. I'm not going to continue to stress myself out about a situation that I cannot control. And 99% of the court system in America is always going to benefit the woman. And let's not talk about how they do not like black men. So I wouldn't even recommend a black man going to court and fighting for his child. I'm being real. We keep forgetting that we live in America where the system is legit built against the black man while it benefits the black woman, and nobody wants to speak on that.
I tried to find the logic in what she was saying, and I just couldn't, because although I do agree that you should pick your battles and that sometimes you do have to just let go and let God revisit it at a later point, but I just don't feel like a man abandoning his children could ever be one of those situations, just for the simple fact, if she's putting you through so much hell, what do you think she's going to be doing to your children? If she's not mentally stable enough to handle certain situations with you, and it's to the point where it's literally affecting your mental health and your state of mind, what do you think your children are being subjected to? So if anything, that's a reason to go harder. And yes, I do agree the court system has not always been in our favor, but that is not an excuse. Neither has socioeconomic conditions, but that's not going to stop me from trying to be a success. Like, we can only use those excuses as excuses for so long. We just have to figure out a way to do what it is we need to do and raise enough hell and stir up enough attention to where the proper channels are created, if there are none. We cannot just throw up and say to hell with these kids. You're leaving their mental and emotional well-being in the hands of somebody that you are saying is mentally and emotionally unstable. She ended up getting to the point, which is that there's a lack of maturity all around, but it's like you don't fight immaturity with disregard. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to your children. I don't know. Thoughts? Like, share, and be sure to follow.
I'm not going to deal with that video too long. I may do another video on it, but I'll just say a couple things. You know, one, the first chick was right. The second chick was wrong at the end. Two, women like the second woman at the end, most of them are incapable of having empathy for a man, putting themselves in a man's shoes. Number three, the second chick's take, it comes down to this. It really comes down to this. It's hard for some women to even hold other women accountable. A man shouldn't have to fight to see his child. And then the woman saying like, yo, like these niggas shouldn't have to go through this. We shouldn't have. That completely gets disregarded. And what is she doing? She is doing, as far as the second chick, she is doing what the manipulative woman in these situations do, which there are countless manipulative women in the fucking, court system right now with the custody battles and things of that nature. But what is she doing? She is using the kids as leverage, and she is basically playing on the fact that the guy should care about the kids, and, we should go and fight with the woman who is in control of the situation for the kids' sake. Why don't you shame the women who were putting guys in this situation? Why is the focus so much on the men? And it comes down to this. When you look at stuff like that, like videos like that, and people like that, and a lot of women, and even in some cases, some men, because some dudes be fucking dweebs, man. When a woman is doing shit like this, and somebody points it out and calls it out and tries to hold her accountable, it's always on the man. It's always on the man to be the mature one. It's always on the man to take the action, to make things right, to fight in the situation, to do the right thing. It's always the man's fault. Even if the woman is the one doing the fuck shit, it gets briefly acknowledged, and then we begin to hold the man accountable for how he's reacting to the shit that she's doing. We begin to say, no, you need to fight for your kids, blah, blah, blah. So when you look at a lot of this content and a lot of people's perspectives and stuff like that, like women are held to no standard. And that's just what it is. But all of that aside, when you look at this, that situation right there is an extremely common situation. And it goes back to the thing that I said when it comes to American law. And I'm going to break it down real quick. We're going to end it right here. So when I look at all of this stuff, right, when it comes to family court, as far as just like everything that I mentioned, when it comes to regular civilians, all of that is like college and high school basketball, right? So a lot of us are going to be playing on that level when it comes to these women. Like, it's an accessible level. It's a level that, any of us can be exposed to when it comes to the court system. But when we talk about the NBA of this shit, right? The NBA level bullshit as far as leagues. Dudes who make a lot of money and have a lot of fame, that's the court level when we talk about this Me Too shit with the lawsuits. So that's not stuff most of us are going to have to deal with, and that's me being honest with you as a viewer, just keeping it 1,000. But the issue is that this is even a fucking game in the first place. Remember, I'm paralleling this to basketball. Like, I'm comparing this to basketball. In this case, there shouldn't be any basketball. There shouldn't even be any leagues. The American court system not only needs to lose its biases towards women, but also it shouldn't be possible for somebody to just come out with these allegations and file lawsuits. It shouldn't be possible. But like I mentioned earlier, once the can of worms is out, you really can't put them back in. We're cooked. We're cooked. Eddie Murphy on Eddie Murphy Raw had a joke about the Bush bitch, and I covered that in one of my videos about Eddie Murphy Raw. And yeah, it's coming to that time where we talk all this passport shit. If you go and get a chick in another country, do not bring her back here, bro. Just move to that other country, dog. Just begin to become accustomed to that shit. Keep your citizenship, keep your ability to work and get jobs here and stuff like that. But, bro, if you do that, like, just don't bring her back here, bro. Go get you a bitch out of a hut, and that be what it is. Because these motherfuckers here is playing a dirty game. We're cooked. We're cooked. I don't see this shit going well in the next 50 years, the next 100 years. Can't even fathom.